What is going on, trainers? Drumvillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and today we're looking at an open Master League team. Now, I've been grinding XL Candy for Beldum for a long time. Whenever Beldum's been available, I've been catching as many as I can. I've been doing long distance trades to trade them away to guarantee an XL Candy. You know, just going through the motions. I think I've now got 3 Best Buddy Metagross just from walking them, having them on just to grind those candies away. And I've now powered up a Shadow Metagross, my 98% Shadow Metagross, which I was very lucky to get from one of the leaders back when Shiny Shadow Beldum was available. And so we're going to max this out because Shadow Metagross is a higher damage output than Mega Metagross. So I figure I'll do a Shadow first and then grind the candy to level 50, a regular Metagross, to have the Mega down the line when that comes out. And we've also powered up a Dragonite to level 50, a 100% Dragonite all the way up to level 50. We've had the XL Candy ready for this, well, pretty almost ready. We've had a lot of candy from over the years built up. We haven't had anywhere to put it, but we've been chipping away at this thing. So we figured now Open Master League's back, we'll power both these things up, test them out and see how they perform. Now, obviously, this is a very expensive team because we've also paired this with a level 50 Melmetal, but when you're in the Open Master League, you need level 50 Pokemon to compete. If you've only got level 40 Pokemon, maybe you're not level 40 yet yourself, or you don't have the XL Candy, you want to stick to Master League Classic because we ran into a lot of level 50 Pokemon. There's level 50 Legendaries, level 50 Dialgas running around, and you just cannot keep up if you do not have level 50 Pokemon in Open Master League. So it's a very niche player base of people that are playing this this mode. So it's not for everyone, but I did want to cover at least one team in this league and just show you guys what it looks like, especially in the higher ranks, what to expect. And I wanted to test out Shadow Metagross, see how it performed. I know in regular Master League, you're generally as well off with the normal Metagross compared to the Shadow, just for that extra bulk, but we're going to see how we get on here today. Now, we did Elite TM our Metagross to give it Meteor Mash. You do have to have Meteor Mash on Metagross for PvP, and we are switching up the lineup in this video. So we start off with Dragonite on the lead, and then we're going to swap to Metagross on lead, just to see what kind of leads we're running into and trying to find that right balance. So, jumping into our first match, and we've got a Kyogre lead, and that's brilliant because you want to see Kyogre with your Dragonite because Dragonite just resists the waterfall damage, resists the surf. You can take a Thunder pretty comfortably, and obviously Kyogre does very well against Metagross and Melmetal, so it's the ideal matchup for it. They swap in a Dialga, so we're going to bring in our Melmetal to wall the energy off from this thing. And they're going to hit us with a Draco, but we can take that Draco. And now we're going to start throwing some superpowers and really get them out of here. They could have shielded and probably won that matchup if they wanted to have committed both shields, but we're happy that they're giving up Switch. I feel like they are confident that they've dragged out our only steal, but we've got Metagross in the back, so we're going to see what they swap out into. We're going to throw this Dragon Claw straight away, put some pressure on this shield. We're not going to get it because the Kyogre can't do that much to Dragonite, and I think we're going to let this go. Yeah, we're going to let this go. It's just a surf. It's not going to hit us too hard. They swap out to Togekiss. We've got Metagross. This is a GG. And the opponent's going to back out there. Good game. So we're off to a great start in this first matchup. We're looking pretty solid, getting the hard counter on that opponent, but it's not tough to take wins when you've got that hard counter like that. It's tough luck for the opponent really in that case. Second matchup, we've got a Mewtwo, and we tried to catch the Side Strike, and we're pretty sure there can't really be anything else. So yeah, we catch the Side Strike, it's double resisted, so even on Shadow Metagross, it doesn't do much at all. And we're going to pull out a Giratina, and we're happy to pull this out here because Giratina Origin does pretty well, again, against both Metagross and Melmetal. So this way we can get rid of this thing, and Melmetal might be free to do some serious work in the back. Now, we're going to spring in Dragonite and build up a little bit of energy. We know we can afford, they pretty much threw that Ominous Wind straight away, so we knew they didn't have much energy, so we weren't at risk of taking a Shadow Ball. And this is probably an Ominous Wind. I think they're one Shadow Claw short. yeah, it's an ominous win, so we're not going to shield this up. We're just going to... They get the boost, though. Oof, that could have been scary if they had have shielded the Dragon Claw. And they're going to bring in a Dialga here. So I think we're just going to throw this Dragon Claw and then swap straight away, yeah. See what they decide to do. They're going to bring in the Mewtwo. And since we've already done some chip damage with the Dragon Breath from Dragonite, this Mewtwo is going to go down to 2 Rock Slides. So after this, we're now going to be pressuring the shields. And they've built up quite a bit of energy. I don't think it's enough for a Focus Blast. Yeah, it's just another Side Strike, so we're going to let this through. We're feeling pretty confident, being quite cocky. If that would have been a Shadow Ball, we might have been looking pretty iffy for taking out the Dialga. Going to let that go through. And I think at this point, because we've got 2 shields, we can just spam superpowers, the opponent realizes, and they're going to surrender. GG! The great thing about this team as well is that the Metagross Save Swap is going to bait out your strongest Melmetal counters, so hopefully your Melmetal is free to sweep a lot of endgames. Now we pull a Giratina lead, and that's brilliant for Dragonite, because again, it does well against the Steel types, and they swap into a Charmer, so we're thinking they might be running a double Charmer strat here, and in that case we're looking fantastic. So we're going to bring in Metagross, we're going to go ahead and throw a Meteor Mash before Sylveon gets to a move, but keep some residual energy. But also we're going to be able to get to this Meteor Mash, and this is going to do big damage to Giratina. It's going to do, yeah, about 3/4, maybe it's 2/3 to 3/4 worth of damage. We're just going to let this go through, farm down with the Dragonite, and we're expecting to see maybe a Togekiss him back, but we're going to see what they decide to do. We're going to let this go through again, save a shield for the Melmetal. Well, save 2 shields for the Melmetal, and there's the Togekiss. So again, nothing the opponent can do. A very hard wall victory for us. It's GG's, but again, we just had the team comp win. And sometimes you're going to find that in Master League, and you're going to find that quite a lot in Master League, just because there's a lot of dragons to shut down the steel counters, a lot of fairies to shut down the dragons, and steels to shut down the fairies. So it's all very rock paper scissorsy in the Master League. Now, Dragonite Mirror Lead, we decide to swap out to Metagross just because we've got 2 steel types. So 2 Pokemon that are going to do very well against Dragonite. So it's worth swapping out to try and get one of our steel types locked onto it. But obviously a Dragonite lead is probably going to have Punishers to Steels in the back. They bring in a Melmetal to our Metagross, which isn't the best answer. But it is putting in work because, like we said, we're a lot squishier because we're Shadow. Whereas if we were a regular Metagross, we're still threatening a one-shot with these Earthquakes, but the Rock Slides and potential Superpowers and Thunder Shocks are just adding up a lot less. Now, we're not confident that the Melmetal can't just get to a Rock Slide and a Superpower before we get to another Earthquake, so we decide to let it go down, bring in our Melmetal, throw a Superpower at this thing, and really get it low. We're going to have to shield a Superpower though, and they're going to swap out to their own Metagross. We should have thrown a couple of Superpowers on Melmetal before swapping out, and then just hoped that our Melmetal could then sweep. But at this point, our Dragonite can't put in enough work. We're going to make it to this Hurricane, barely, and if we'd have thrown a Superpower on Melmetal initially, this would have been enough to KO, and then we'd have had our Melmetal clear of debuffs from swapping to our Dragonite to ideally sweep their Dragonite and Melmetal. So it's actually a mirror team. We both had the Dragonite in the lead with Melmetal and Metagross in the back. But with us having the Shadow Metagross probably cost us that game, really, because we just didn't have the bulk to survive the onslaught of charge moves that their Melmetal was putting out. But it's a GG all the same. You'll have to forgive any drastic mistakes that we make, because it has been quite a while since we played proper Master League. So some of the matchups were a little iffy, especially when it came to like Metagross and Melmetal. So again, we're going to swap out into our Metagross on this lead and drag out an Excadrill, which again, Excadrill does very well against Melmetal. The Drill Run hits like an absolute truck. We're just going to take this Drill Run, and then I think we're going to just farm down with Dragonite, which isn't ideal. Excadrill is a very good choice and very bad for our team in Open Master League, because the Rock Slide is going to do big damage to our Flyers. Bang, look at that. That hits a lot harder than I'd like it to, and obviously the Drill Run's threatening the Steels. But we're going to get to this Dragon Claw, do big damage to their Dragonite if they choose to let it go through, which they do. And they're going to throw themselves, which is really nice because they probably could have farmed us down there before we got to another Dragon Claw. And then they've got a Mamoswine, sorry, not a Melmetal. in the back. We're going to bring in our Melmetal to the Mamoswine and just throw Rock Slide. We should have maybe thrown Superpower. Now everybody's still got 2 shields, so I suppose the play is to just throw a Rock Slide spam, because we just need to not be debuffing ourselves. We're happy that we shielded their Bulldoze straight off the bat. It costs them a little bit more energy than Avalanche does. So I think if you're the Mamoswine, I would personally go straight Bulldoze if I was them as well. I don't think it's, because if I call a bait, it's not worth it. It's not worth the pitiful amount of damage that that's going to do. But by getting that Avalanche bait, they might make it to a Bulldoze before we get to one more move and take them out. Maybe they would have made it anyway. If it is, yeah, it's Bulldoze. It's not going to take us out. It's going to get us very low though. We might get farmed down. I think we might have lost this game. I think we're going to struggle to finish off there. We've just not got enough health here. Yeah, the Dragonite's just going to be able to farm us down. It's a GG. So we're able to take a 3-2 in that first set, which, again, 3-2 is nothing to complain about. We get our encounter. We get a cheeky Mienfoo, which, not brilliant IVs, but still happy to rack up some candy for it. For now, I'm going to jump up probably 10-15 points or so. Yeah, up to 27.99. We're still lingering around that point as we're just trying to work out new teams to use and trying to find something that really suits us in these leagues. So we're jumping into the second set of matchups and we've got the Nightmare lead. Melmetal is absolutely not what we want to see with this team on lead. Dragonite can do very little against Melmetal. We're going to swap out to Metagross and we pull out a Kyogre, and there's arguments to be made that Melmetal's a better save swap than Metagross, but we hit him with the Earthquake and that does big damage, but we're not going to be able to farm them down still, so maybe just going for double Meteor Mash would have been the answer, because then we might have pressured a shield out of him. But we're going to be able to farm down this Kyogre. We're going to have to eat a Surf, which is not ideal. We're still stuck against that Melmetal, so it's really not looking good, because if we swap in our Melmetal, then they can throw a Superpower and dip out. So we're kind of already screwed in this match, unless they've got, like, I don't know, I really don't know what they could have him back that means that we can win this matchup. They're going to throw a Superpower. They might be going to swap out. Yeah, swap out. It's a Mewtwo in back, and there's just not much we can do here. We can't shield whatever the Mewtwo throws at us really here. We just can't do it. We need the shield for a Superpower from their Melmetal. We're just going to go ahead and keep on throwing Rock Slides. If this is a Focus Blast, so be it. There's not much we can do. It is a Focus Blast. Bang! One shot takes us out, and Dragonite's just not going to be able to do anything here. We've got all the energy in the world. They got 2 shields, but we're going to back out. It's a GG. Nothing we can do there. So at this point, we're going to swap to Metagross on the lead for the rest of the battles. We pull a Melmetal lead, so better than having Dragonite up against this thing. But again, it's also not the best, because we're not as bulky. They can throw a Superpower, they can even probably throw 2, and then they can just swap out and really start to chip our Metagross down over time. We do get a shield with the Meteor Mash bait, which is really nice for us. We're not going to shield this, it's just a Rock Slide. It still does a pretty respectable chunk, and now, because we're Shadow, we are quite threatened by a Superpower. That's going to hit us, doesn't quite take us out, but they've got another Superpower ready to go. And I think it's probably worth shielding. Yeah, it's probably worth shielding this. And then throwing another move. They swap to Dialga, so it's going to throw this Earthquake straight out the gate, and this is either going to one-shot or it's going to get the shield. So now we're up by a shield, and we can bring in our Melmetal, build up to 2 Superpowers, and just get this Dialga out of here. Or maybe a Rock Slide and a Superpower would be enough. Take the Thunder, no worries there, it's not going to KO us. We're going to build up to 100 energy, throw a Rock Slide, and then throw a Superpower, and hope it's just enough. It might not be though, but we're going to throw this. We're up at 2 Superpowers now as well, because if this does KO, we want to throw a Superpower at their Melmetal pretty quick. It's not quite enough, and that's really unfortunate, because now we're going to have to shield this Iron Head, I presume, yeah, which would have been enough to take us out at that point, but we're going to farm down with Thunder Shock. We've got a lot of energy. So I don't think they want to bring the Melmetal into ours here, but they're going to bring a Kyogre in. And we probably shouldn't have thrown the Superpower. We probably should have swapped out straight away. and then being able to throw our superpowers from a higher, without being preemptively debuffed from throwing at the Dialga before. But it's not really going to matter because we've got Dragonite against this Melmetal. We're going to struggle to take it out. This Hurricane is going to do big damage just because the bullet punches from Metagross were adding up quite a bit. But I think we're too low to farm down this Melmetal, and then we're not going to have enough energy to deal with the Kyogre. Yeah, not much we can do here. It's just going to be a GG. What you find with this team is you're just going to struggle against legendaries, especially once people are powering up their legendaries towards level 50. There's not much you can do against those overwhelming stat totals. But we're going to truck onwards and see what the next matchup has in store for us. And it's the Dream Lead, Togekiss. Metagross is a very dominant matchup against Togekiss. They swap out to Kyogre, and we've got Dragonite. It's a hard punish. And I think we're going to go straight for the Hurricane. No, they're thrown early. This could be Thunder, which would do a good chunk of damage, yeah. And this is the thing, is if you let the Thunder through, you put yourself in a tough spot where the Kyogre can choose to shield and actually farm you down. But they don't shield, but we're going to throw another Dragon Claw before they get to another Surf, just to make sure we knock them out. But they do shield that at this point, and they do farm us down, which isn't ideal. But swap advantage doesn't matter that much, because Togekiss is going to struggle with both Metagross and Melmetal. So let's see what they've got in back. It's their other answer, it's Giratina. So we're in a bit of a tough spot here, because Giratina is going to be able to put some serious work in against our squad. So it's going to go ahead, throw Meteor Mash and get the shield, and swap into our Melmetal and start throwing Rock Slides. Now I think we're going to let the first move go through. No, we've got 2 shields and they've got none. We need to start shielding. No, we are. We need a Shadow Ball. That's not brilliant. I think we were definitely expecting an Ominous Wind bait, because them being 2 shields down, we expected them to kind of maybe go for the boost, but they're just going straight for Shadow Balls here. They're going harder, they're going home. We're going to be able to get to these Rock Slides, and another Rock Slide will take out the Giratina. They're going to swap out to Togekiss. I'm going to throw this Rock Slide straight away, and then maybe see how much we can. We're going to swap into our Metagross just to put in some work. And now we're hoping to farm down this Togekiss with Thunder Shock to then have a Rock Slide to throw at the Giratina. We think that they're pretty low on energy, so we just want to get this energy ready to go, because we can take the Charms much better than we can take the Shadow Claws. I'm going to throw this Rock Slide, get Giratina out of here. It's a GG. Pretty close though for how strong of a matchup we had against that Togekiss. I think a big issue in Open Master League is that a lot of people bring steel counters. So Gyarados lead here, and that's very bad news for us. We're swapping to Dragonite, and I don't think Dragonite is necessarily the better answer to Gyarados. Really, we should have swapped in Melmetal, especially once we should have waited a second, seen that it was Waterfall, and swapped in to Melmetal rather than Dragonite. If it had been a Dragon Breath Gyarados, we'd probably stayed in with Metagross. Probably would have been the better play, just because you can't really bring Dragonite into that either. But we're going to bring in Metagross here. We're going to take this Iron Head, and I think we're going to go for a very aggressive farm down. We're going to take both of these moves. We're going to do good chunks of damage, like I said, just because we're Shadow. We should be able to farm down, yeah. So we've got a Meteor Mash ready to go. We've got a shield advantage, and it really does depend on just what this trainer's got in the back. So we're going to throw this Meteor Mash. We do a good chunk of damage, yeah, hits more than half. We're coming with Melmetal, and I think we might as well shield this. This very much could be a crunch. Yeah, it is a crunch. It's just going to do a big... oh, it's actually a Dragon Tail Gyarados. I thought it was a Waterfall. That's nice and spicy. I think that's Legacy, actually, on Gyarados. I've never really considered running Dragon Tail on Gyarados before. Might have to look into that. But this opponent's got a Landorus in the back, either way, and a lot of Landorus run Superpower rather than Earth Power or Earthquake. I'm not sure which one the Therian form has access to. I haven't built one myself for PvP yet, but it's Superpower. They're going to go ahead and throw 2 of them. Now we can just throw a Rock Slide. This will be enough to KO if they choose not to shield. But we are out of shields, so we can't... Oh, we pull a catch off. Is this a Superpower? Is this going to be enough to make the difference? in this game? Probably not. No, the Gyarados has an Aqua already. That catch could have been really clutch, but it was just, the odds were already 2 against us there, and it's a GG. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the last match of the second set of battles here against the Ralph. And what we pull on lead, Dialga. This is a pretty solid lead for Metagross, just because you're resisting the Dragon Breath and the Iron Heads. They swap into Garchomp, and we're going to bring in our Dragonite, but it is a Dragon Tail Garchomp. So maybe we could have stayed in with Metagross, at least for a little bit longer, and then tried to catch a potential Earth Power or Sand Tomb on the Dragonite, I think, because Dragon Tail Garchomp can really go toe-to-toe with Dragonite. It can really chip away at the health. You saw it was hitting like an absolute truck. They bring Dialga back in, which leads us to think that they're actually pretty scared of a Metagross with energy. We're going to go straight for the Earthquake, no bait in here. Bang! Dialga gets one shot. They've got Mewtwo in the back. They're down a shield, and they just surrender there. They might have had a shot at that match still, depending on what moveset they had, but either way, I'm happy to take the win there. Now, we did do more battles with this team, with Metagross on lead, but we struggled to really make any headway with it. I wanted to really try out Shadow Metagross and see really how it performs, but I do feel like a normal Metagross is better. Shadow Metagross will be fantastic for raiding. It's great DPS against anything that even it's just neutral to. But I think if you're looking for PvP to level 50 a Metagross, I recommend you do a normal one. Just do either a Purified or a normal Metagross, whichever. Just, you need that bulk. Because generally 2 Meteor Mashers are going to knock out most Pokemon anyway, and being a Shadow doesn't make it a one-shot risk, and if you need to land an Earthquake, that's going to one-shot either way if it's super effective, so it doesn't improve those matchups. So really you're just losing bulk. So I would recommend not building a level 50 Shadow Metagross unless you want it for raiding. A level 50 Dragonite is fantastic. It's definitely, I would say it's worth building, but also the performance is not going to be as strong as it might have been the last time Master League was around, just because now people can have level 50 Dialga much more easily, and Dragonite struggles in that matchup, and obviously with there being more Dialgas, there's going to be more Melmetals, which also Dragonite struggles with. So I think the Open Master League meta is shifting against Dragonite and more towards what the Master League meta was like before XL Pokemon even came in. We do have a level 49 Excadrill that we've been working on, and we might bring that in for a video at some point, try it out. I feel like it's got a lot of play in this current meta, but I'll let you guys know how that works out if we do it. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you do like the content, you like the teams, you want to see more. If you're already subscribed, you're an absolute legend, and I will catch you guys next time.